Vice Mayor Pro-tem Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor, and good morning. Mayor, thanks first for the opportunity to allow the council committee to deal with these council appointments in this format. I want to thank my colleagues around the table also in that we've had quite involved discussions concerning the appointments to various boards and commissions, and you should have in front of you a single-page sheet which reflects the discussions and decisions, should say recommendations proffered by the Council Committee on Ethics, Elections, and Council Governance. Clearly, in some instances, the discussions were very relevant and on point. We were able to resolve the issues, and we had kind of an agreement that we would proffer the names of those persons who had been recommended by the committee, with each respective council person making his or her own nominations here today. And Mayor, I'd like to thank my colleagues for their participation in this committee effort, and close by, because we've had detailed discussions on these particular nominees and the resumes have been presented, I'm going to make a motion to suspend the rules as it relates to item 27 through 32, which deals with appointments to various boards and commissions. The motion is that we suspend the rules and receive and confirm these nominations today for items 27 through 32.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
And discussion, and Vice Mayor Pro-tem Bradford, you also need to thank Ms. Russell, who is the person who's actually making it work from a legal standpoint as we construct the minutes of this meeting. Chair recognizes Councilman Pennington.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just going to nominate the people to the St. George's place, but Chairman Bradford has already done that, so I don't need to.
In essence, we are adopting the results of the report.
Right. Thank you.
Councilmember Vice Mayor Pro-tem Bradford, I'm going to suggest that perhaps the proper motion is that we just accept the report for a final vote next week. It was posted for the receipt of nominations, and there may be an open meetings.
Let me ask you, does the body have the authority to suspend the rules as it relates to this issue? If it does not, clearly I'm willing to stand down and we can do it on next week.
Mr. Feldman, if you would respond.
Suspension of the rules would not help council member, because this is a matter of state law in terms of the appropriateness of the agenda. And since the agenda only says receive nominations and not approve, then under the Open Meetings Act, you could not act to approve the items.
Because of what the posting. Correct. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Councilman. Okay, Mayor, having received that, I so concur and amend my motion to place these into nominations this week as per the committee's recommendation.
And there was I know you've submitted it in writing, but I'll go ahead and get a second on it as well. By Councilmember Moran. Councilmember Moran.
Mayor, what I was going to say was that I'm a little uncomfortable that we're surrendering our ability to nominate folks to the Ethics Committee. I am not really sure I want to say that, but I went ahead and did it, and that's really all I want to say about
it. Councilmember, I am, as I expressed by memo to all council members, while we have accepted the report and it is on the floor, I will formally call for the nomination. So you have not completely ceded any authority to a committee.
That completely is.
Vice Mayor Pro-tem Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to reiterate what you just said. I hope that no council member thinks that he or she is surrendering any ability to make a nomination in the committee. It was reiterated on several occasions that the rules of council allows any person on the day of the activity to make a nomination from the floor. And that opportunity is available here today for someone to make an additional nomination from the floor today. You know, I was shown upon that because we kind of agreed to do it via committee to not do it this way, but certainly the prerogative is there, and I would ask that we not just make all the work we did in committee be fruitful, you know, and let's move forward, but nonetheless, that opportunity is still here today if someone wants to make an additional nomination, and I support someone's right to do that, but I'll aggressively ask colleagues to stick with what the committee has advanced forward. Thank you.
And again, council members, when we get through the comments, I will, if council members wish to make nominations, they can do so, but I also make a formal call for nominations. Chair recognizes Councilmember Noriega.
I'm not suggesting that we're doing anything that's inappropriate. I am merely raising the issue and indicating that I have some discomfort. I think it is very easy to create precedents and have another way of doing things based on this kind of activity, and I would just suggest that everybody needs to pay attention. That's all.
Councilmember Pennington.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I was one of the proponents of having an opportunity at committee to vet nominations. You know, because of the open meetings law and those kind of things, it's very difficult to get to know who the nominees are. And so I thought having a forum where they could present themselves, or the council members nominating present themselves, and have an opportunity to, you know, to test their qualifications and see what they were like in an informal way, and you know, a little less spotlighted way than before council at the last minute would be a good thing. And so I just like, you know, the downside of that is, as you well know, not everyone is able to attend every committee meeting, and sometimes less than the full council get an opportunity for that vetting, but they do have an opportunity to. So I'd say there's some advantages to this and some disadvantages, but I think with the opportunity to nominate people at the table, then I think the shortcomings are pretty well taken care of. Thank you, Mayor.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Noriega.
I'm going to clarify one more time, I don't have any problem with discussing this in committee. My concern is with the change in procedure about making nominations. That's typically been something that each council member has done. And all I'm suggesting is that we need to be aware that we're making a change here. That's all.
There's no other council members in the queue. Council members, what's going to happen by accepting the report of the committee, the names that are on the list that has been distributed with the attached council member nominator will be entered into the record as formal nominations. We'll vote on accepting the report, and then I'll call for if there are any further additional nominations to be voted upon next week. And the resumes for all of these nominees have been distributed at the council table with, again, the original nominator attached. I'm going to ask for, if there's no further discussion, we'll move to a vote on accepting the report of the committee and the attached nominations. Favoring, opposed, motion carries. Now, council members, in addition to these nominees, council members always reserve the right to refine their decision-making process. Are there any further nominations? In addition to the nominees that are on this list, Councilmember Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one I would like to add on Vivian King. Pardon me, to renominate her to the board in which she was serving. I'm trying to pull it up here real quick. Public Safety Committee Board. Vivian King.
Is this a board that is up at this point?
Oh.
Councilmember, you might want to hold that.
Okay, well, hold on. That's next week.
Actually, I think it's,
Okay.
Next- next
Oh,
few
oh,
months
oh,
away.
got it.
are there any further nominations? Oh. Accept the motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second.
Moving to a vote favoring opposed, motion carries, the nominations are closed.